Hey, scrappy people. Traci Reed here today, coming at you with Sketchy Sunday number 21. Today I'm working on more graduation pictures with my Happy Day collection. I'm loving this bright rainbow stripe, so I'm using it on both sides, spanning the entire page, and I have already printed and cut the basic layout for this spread. You can see I have my journaling arched around this mat, and I'm going to add this yellow mat on top of it to sort of bring in the green and yellow from the school colors. You can see that the other paper that I have pulled out is also green. And then I have this large photo here, and then one more that goes on the other side. And on the sketch, there is another circle up at the top here, but instead of having like a patterned paper circle, I am adding that I'm so proud of you journal card, and I just arched the bottom of it to make it work with the sketch. So this is the basic layout of my spread, and I actually stopped here and put this aside for a couple of weeks before I went back and started embellishing. So I've pulled out a bunch of embellishments, and I decided that the way to go was to use these white cutouts that I created the first time I used this collection, because I think I'm just going to carry these bursts through the page, or through all of the graduation pages, just so that they all tie together. So I think this might be the third page that I'm using them on. It's at least the second, but I'm pretty sure I used them on all three pages so far of these graduation photos. And I decided that instead of adding a title around the circular portion of that mat over there on the right hand side, that I was just going to let the "I am so proud of you" be the title for the page. This says "Way to go," and I'm going to pop it up on a pop dot as well. So I'm creating some height and texture with pop dots and raising up the colorful bursts and that "Way to go" up off of the white bursts that I cut out from the digital stamps. So I decided to just go ahead and go all in on the confetti and streamers for this page. It's probably going to be the last set of these graduation photos I scrapbook. I think I have maybe one or two more that I might scrapbook. I'm not quite sure yet, but since I wanted it to feel very celebratory, since it was one of the last ones that I was going to scrapbook, so I just went all in with the confetti and the streamers, and I'm just sort of aligning the streamer color to the appropriate color on the striped papers. So pink on pink, yellow on yellow, etc. The confetti is multicolored, so I'm not really too worried about that. I'm just kind of trying to make sure that it all just looks not necessarily organic, because it's kind of hard to get this to look truly organic, but sprinkled about in clusters in a semi-organic way. I'm going to add in some enamel dots to those clusters as well as soon as I get them situated the way that I want them to be. I decide at this point that I think I'm just going to go ahead and also go all in on the bursts on the page. So I decide to add them to the top and the bottom of this page on the left here, and just kind of use them as focal points on the page. So this is deviating from the sketch a bit. Not a big deal. The sketch is always just a place to start. So I just kind of start adding them where I want them to be that makes sense visually to me. So I'm going to have this one span both pages, which I end up not super loving in the end. I'm not sure that I would have liked it if I had just cut it off here and then not spanned the page with it. I don't know that that would have made me happy either, because you can see it like looks cut off. but I don't know. I feel like it might have been a little bit of a mistake to put that there, but I went with it anyway because not everything is going to be a perfect decision all the time. So I just had already put down the liquid glue on the right hand side of the page, so I just went ahead and went with it. I do think I like it better spanning the page than I would have if it had just been cut off, but I probably just shouldn't have put anything there at all. The way I look at it now, it still feels a little bit off balance to me, but I'm gonna go ahead and work on something else and come back to it to make it feel more balanced in the end when I have like added everything I want to add to it. So I'm going to add this pink burst to the top here, and I'm offsetting my puffy dot thing whatever that word is. My goodness, I'm offsetting it so that I make sure that I don't cut it in half. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this orange one, and I decide that since there's going to be so very little on the left hand side of the page when it spans the page, that I'm just going to pop up the orange on this side and then just let it lay flat underneath the journaling on the other side. So you can see I'm sort of also having the colors match the color stripe, the colors of the burst match the color stripes of the page. I should have put that red one at the top instead of the pink if I was truly going for perfection here, but I had already cut the pink one before I decided to make the colors match all the way down the page with the stripes, so I didn't really have a choice at that point. It's not like a huge deal, but you know, if you notice that, I noticed it too. I'm going to take these enamel dots, and the little ones are going to go in with the confetti and streamers, and then the medium-sized ones are going to be the centers of these colorful like bursts. So I decided to start adding those in. I started with the small ones, didn't look right, so I'm going to add the bigger one instead, and I'm just going to go hog wild. I decided to use the silver instead of the gold. I liked the way that that looked. It worked well with the black in the graduation gown. Alright, so we're getting close to done here. This actually turned out to be a fairly simple page, even though there are a lot of circles, which can be a little daunting, especially if you don't have a cutting machine. But I really like it. If you don't have a cutting machine, use a bowl, use a jar, anything like that to create a stencil for you, or a, you know, a guide for you to create a circle. Lastly, I'm going to put in this red heart, and then I decide that I need one more of these white bursts because it just felt off-centered, and then like I said, I decided to go all in with the streamers, so I added those as well. I'm going to add one of those white bursts to the top right hand corner of the left hand page, just to feel like it's closing in all of the edges of the pages. I guess I felt like it was like this weird open corner up there in the top edge, so that's what I decided to do. And then of course it needs its own center as well. I'm a little bit like, should I not? Yeah, we're gonna do this. So I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to add the pink that I have left over to the center. Yep. And then I'm going to call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link in the description box below to the sketch challenge, and you can download a printable PDF of the sketch while you're over there, as well as see other examples from the team using this sketch. And yep, that's it. I'll see you next time. Thank you.